Shout out to the two, man. Welcome back to the grid. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 5 wide receivers in the league. It's about damn time, man. Y'all was voting, and y'all kept avoiding the wide receivers. I don't know why. Maybe because y'all knew what was about to happen. You know I'm about to get in my bag over this one. But as always, man, make sure you guys is following your man on Twitter, man. Make sure you guys are voting. Vote for all these polls. Now, we won't be doing any videos this weekend, but make sure you guys subscribe anyway, because you never know what might take place, man. Some crazy that happens. I'll definitely drop a video for the channel. But yeah, with that being said, man, let's jump right into this list of wide receivers. And man, in my opinion, I feel like there's a top 3 that's a solid top 3. But 4 through 5, I feel like you can put anyone in those spots out of the top 10, in my opinion, out of the top 10. And I really wouldn't argue. I definitely wouldn't argue, depending on who you put in there. But as for my honorable mentions, I'm going to have to go with, sadly, Julio Jones, man. Julio Jones has not cracked the top 5 for me going into the 2021 season. Odell, he's coming off an injury. Hopefully he's right, man, because I love Odell. I love Odell's game, man. I definitely want to mind him on my team. But Odell being in that honorable mentions as well. Keenan Allen and Michael Thomas. Now, Michael Thomas is really tricky. He's a really tricky one because he didn't play that much last year due to health. But they do have a turnover at quarterback right now for the Saints, and who knows how he will perform. Now, I'm not saying that he's a product of Drew Brees, but there's definitely a difference between going from Drew Brees to, say, a guy like James Winston or Taysom Hill. But hey, I could easily be wrong, and Michael Thomas could still be one of the best wide receivers in the league, so I wouldn't necessarily sleep on that. However, with that being said, man, with that being out the way, let's jump into the 5. And coming in at number 5 is a guy that I believe will actually make that next leap, man. That's AJ Brown. Now, he's going into his 3rd year with the Tennessee Titans. AJ Brown is now the bona fide number 1. He's definitely the bona fide number 1. I want to say that he was the number 1 last year, even with Corey Davis, but Corey Davis was like what was he, like a top 5, top 10 pick, something crazy. Like, he was a first rounder. And so AJ Brown will definitely still now be that number 1 wide receiver, even with the addition of Julio Jones, which is why I don't have him in my honorable mentions, because I just feel like AJ is the number 1 and Julio is the number 2 for that team. Now, he shouldn't be seeing too much of any type of crazy coverages, because he should be getting a lot of 1v1s, man. Him and Julio should both be getting a lot of 1v1s, because you have that man down in the backfield and Derrick Henry. But teams will still need to also game plan for Julio, because they still going to respect him. Just like most of the media, they still believe he's a top 5 wide receiver, and so Julio's still going to be getting some of that game plan, especially early on. But I just feel like Brown should be eating that, man. Brown should definitely be eating, especially early in this season, depending on how the Tennessee Titans are going about their game plans. But I would not be surprised if you see any crazy numbers from AJ Brown this year, man. So if you see some crazy numbers from him, just know you heard it here first. So coming in at number 4 is actually a guy I wasn't even sure I was even going to have in my top 5, because the man got exposed last year, man. He got exposed for who he truly is, which is what I've been trying to tell folks for a few months now, and that he's just an elite gadget guy. Now, gadget, people don't like that gadget word, man, but he's an elite gadget guy. He has top 5 impact on any team, but is he truly a top 5 wide receiver? And the guy I'm talking about is Tyreek Hill. Now, you can't deny his speed, man, which opens up a lot of things for that Kansas City's offense, man. But hopefully working this all season on trying to beat man coverage, trying to beat press coverage. If he can work on that, man, he'll definitely be unguardable. Because you can't press him because once he gets past the press, you can't press him no more. You have to have always somebody over the top for him, on which opens up not only stuff for Tyreek Hill, but you got other guys such as Kelsey and all these other guys that's on that team that's gonna open up for them. So he definitely has, like I said, a top 5 impact on that team. You have to respect him. You still have to game plan for him, regardless of how you feel about Tyreek Hill. He could do it all. He's, like I said, in my opinion, he's really a gadget guy. But he's so elite at what he does that I had to put him in this top 5. But if you were, like I said, if you were to put one of those honorable mentions over him, I wouldn't argue it. Like I said, he has all the tools, and he could definitely take his game even further than what he already is. So coming in at number 3 is fan favorite Deandre Hopkins. Now, a lot of people is gonna have him number 1, but sadly, folks, just like with Julio, man, things change, man. Things change, and coming into the 2021 season, he's just not that guy anymore to me. Now, to me, that is because, there's 2 other guys ahead of him that I just feel like is just better, and that's no knock on Hop, because at the end of the day, Hop is a monster. You know, Hop is going to do what Hop does. He's still going to have, 1,000+ yards. He might have close to 10 touchdowns, maybe 8 to 10 touchdowns. He's still going to be that guy for the Arizona Cardinals. Now that they added AJ Green, he should still have some decent coverages out there as well. You should still be seeing some decent matchups. But he's just not the number one guy to me, because the guy that's coming in at number 2 is just a little bit better than him, and that is Stefon Diggs. Now, one can say he single-handedly helped Allen, making him a better quarterback, making him the QB that he is today, because life is just a lot easier when you have an elite talent such as Diggs, man. Same thing that happened with Dak when they got Amari Cooper. Imagine getting Cooper times 3. And that's Stefon Diggs, man. And so the man can run any route. He could beat any coverage. He killed it last year. The guy even led the league in receptions, if I'm not mistaken. He led the league in receptions. So no one can stop the man out there when he's out there on the field. But he just couldn't be number 1, because in order to be number 1, you got to be the man. And the man right now is top 2 Tay, and he ain't 2. And that's Devonta Adams, who is hands down the best wide receiver in the league, ladies and gentlemen. Just like Diggs, he can run any route. He could beat any coverage. But the one thing that separates Adams from the others, especially Diggs, is his release, man. Look at the man's release. Look at his footwork coming off the line of scrimmage. If there is a route that people want to run, if there is something that a wide receiver wants to run, he is your wide receiver's favorite wide receiver. The guy is just that good. Like I said, people want to look at Adams' tape. When they see how Adams beat a certain coverage, they look at his tape and they try to replicate that, man. I can go back a couple of years when Sammy Watkins said, he was able to beat Sherman on a certain route because he watched what Devonta Adams did a couple weeks prior to that game. I'm just saying. No, like I said, no bias, just facts here when it comes to these lists. But Devonta Adams is hands down the number 1 wide receiver in the league, man. So with that being said, man, that is my top 5. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the top 5 wide receivers list, man. Just to recap, we had AJ Brown number 5, Tyreek Hill 4, Hopkins 3rd, Diggs 2nd, and Adams 1. So like I said, leave your top 5 in the comment section below, man. Don't hesitate to share the channel. Don't hesitate to like the video as always, man. And like I said, if you're new, definitely subscribe. So we'll catch you guys next week. Next Monday's kicking it off again. Make sure to follow your boy on Twitter to look at the next poll to see which video I'm gonna drop next, and I'll definitely get up with y'all on the next one. So y'all make sure y'all be easy, and I'm out. Peace.